It's a classic. It's a classic. Movie banter.
It's classic movie banter.
Hey, Brenton.
We got there in the end.
We did. That's our 12th take.
No joke.
No joke.
No joke, bitches.
Real facts. Real notes.
That was the 12th time.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that was just the African version, you know? We've been here for 5 hours already.
I'm not even going to tell you what song that was. I mean, the real fans will know what song that is.
Shazam that.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, if you didn't know what that song is, like, what were your 90s like? I have to ask that. Like,
most of my 90s was not existing.
I mean, exactly half of my 90s were non-existent. But there you go.
Yeah.
No, but it's good to be here.
It's good to be back. I'm always loving these episodes that we're doing.
I do love these episodes.
How's your life been since last week when we did Animal House?
It feels like an age, but it hasn't been an age.
Yeah.
It feels like sometimes time, you know, passes, you know, because time passes at a regular,
very unique
at a
concept.
regular interval, and then sometimes you feel like more time has passed than has really passed.
Mate, you're saying new things. It's I agree with you.
The
it feels
human
like
experience is a funny thing. I gotta.
What have you been reading recently? Yeah,
but
so
yeah, it's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a pretty intense week, Brenton.
Working, you mean?
Yeah,
or
work,
just
social stuff. I don't know. You know what really sucks about 22, and for our older listeners, they're going to be like, just shut up with your bloody age. Be happy you're 22.
Well, they know we're 22 now.
They know we're 22.
Yeah, because we just revealed that, you know, halfway through the 90s is 95.
Yeah, they got the age. I'm a 96 baby though, so I'm not as old as you.
Oh shit, are you?
You're an old motherfucker compared to me. Like you and your 95 years, I tell you.
I'm an old 22-year-old. Yeah.
That's the thing. This has been the first year that hangovers have really started to hit me, like proper. Like I've always had hangovers before, but like I don't know. This last week I've had like a lot of cool stuff just happen, and so I've been going out drinking and that kind of, as you do. You know, hitting Newtown, hitting Coogee, hitting all the cool spots, and yeah, I've woken up feeling genuinely horrendous. And you know when you get like a hangover, like you just don't want to move and that kind of stuff. Like your head hurts, maybe you feel a bit nauseous. Like
I can tell you when my first hangover was.
Oh yeah,
it was when I was around
last week?
6 years old.
What?
I kid you not.
Was it from birth?
No, so I was 6 years old. We went to a Chinese restaurant for. It was around Christmas time. I want to say it was in between Christmas and New Year's.
'Twas the Christmas of 01.
'Twas the Christmas of 01.
Oh, good.
And
what did tiny little Brenton do that
We
Christmas?
had many family members staying with us. We had my cousins with me, and we went to this Chinese restaurant, and it was the first time I think I remember having eaten Chinese food too. So it was like yum. I
love that you associate this feeling with Chinese food.
Dude, this is a happy. It's not totally happy, but it's a happy memory.
Okay.
So we went to this Chinese restaurant. It wasn't yum cha. We had the option to, but we basically just ordered a fucking lot of shit.
Okay. As you do at Chinese.
Yeah, because there was it was a table of like 15 from memory. There was a lot of people there that they were serving, which is why I think this, let's say, mistake happened. So we get through the dinner. I try many different things, all of which I loved. And for dessert, we decide to try. I read on the menu that there's this wonderful thing called fried ice cream. Mm-hmm. It's a great thing, fried ice cream. Fried ice cream. But my
didn't think that was possible, but okay.
But my first experience with this shit, it wasn't good. It was my first experience with this shit was shit. So we ordered, like, I go, what is this, Dad? And he goes, it's fried ice cream. And I said, that makes no sense, Dad. You can't, like...
What you talking about?
So yeah, so Dad goes, no, Brenton, like, it exists. They do.
Quiet, boy.
Yeah. And my dad's a bit of a joker, so he's like, yeah, let's try it. So we order this fried ice cream, and it comes out, and they did this thing where, like, however... They do this thing where they set the fried ice cream on fire, like as a little showy thing. So they pour like a little
teppanyaki kind of thing.
Yeah, so they pour a little bit of like alcohol over it, and then like they set it alight, and then like that burns off, and once that's gone, they give it to you.
And 6-year-old Brenton's like, fuck yeah, like fire, like this is cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Like it was great. It was a great show, and everyone gets their ice cream. It's all good. Little did I know that when they'd, instead of giving a little drop or whatever of this alcohol to like burn, they'd pour more than a drop. In fact, my fried ice cream had this lovely sauce that was unique and wonderful. So what basically happened was they hadn't really burnt the alcohol hadn't totally burnt off.
Oh,
so I had like I don't know what they used, but there was
like
some
ethanol, just
like there was some stuff in the bottom of that bowl, and I loved that fried ice cream, and like I loved the sauce, and I ate it all, and I went home. That night I was very sick, Nathan.
Oh, so you weren't even like a fun drunk 6-year-old kid. You were just like dead.
I was dead.
Ugh.
I like woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I remember like I woke everyone else up because I was moaning. I was in that much pain. But yeah, that was my first hangover at 6 years old.
So that's why you only started drinking last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that explains so much of your character.
Actually, that's my first and only hangover I've ever had in my life too.
Oh, shut the fuck! Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's the only really when you were 6.
Yep.
See, I hate people like you. The people who just say, "Oh, I never get hangovers," and you never do.
It's not for lack of trying, Nathan.
I'm drenched in alcoholism.
No,
It's probably worse because like you don't have the negative side effects, so you just keep going.
I mean, maybe we should all serve 6-year-olds one heap of fried ice cream,
so they get scarred for life and never have it again.
Exactly, and never have it again. I don't know. It's I mean, I don't. To be fair, I don't drink that much nowadays.
No, I regularly get drunk for this podcast, and you're like, I'm going to be sober, Sally. And I'm like, okay, man, you do you.
Yeah, I mean...
By the way, I'm not drunk tonight, FYI.
FYI.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there.
Maybe that's it, because like, I handle alcohol really well. I don't get drunk easily, and I don't really feel the effects. Yeah, so maybe that's got something to do with it.
Yeah, probably, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My development was fucked. Yeah.
And on that note,
episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so whose go is it for Pitch Me this movie?
I think it's my go.
I think it's your go, right? So Brenton.
No, actually, it's not. It's not. I did last week.
You did Animal House?
Yeah, I did Animal House. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, okay.
Because you complimented my pitch. Yeah.
That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. I live for compliments.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Make a podcast, get compliments.
Is that how it works?
I think it's the exact opposite.
I think so too.
I think it's nothing but insults.
So episode number 3
is
Princess Mononoke.
We're doing a Studio Ghibli episode.
Yeah. Woo! This film was released in 1997. And Nathan here is going to pitch us Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
Shoot.
So I'm pitching this as if you know nothing about anything, right? So.
Right.
So, Brenton, do you love the environment? Okay. Brenton, do you love magic?
Yes.
Okay. Do you love magic in the environment?
Yes.
Tell you what, do you love films... And do you watch films and you're like, I wish there was more talking giant animals?
Of course.
Well, Brenton, gosh darn it, I've got the film for you. And this film is called Princess Mononoke. This is a film set in medieval Japan, Brenton, where you follow this young bloke who's part of this kind of exclusive tribe, the Wakanda of Japan, almost, if you were, who is exiled from his community to cure himself of a demonic plague and enters this kind of feudal dystopian version of medieval Japan where magic creatures are feuding against the industrialist kind of Japanese citizens and trouble ensues.
Cool.
Is this sounding in the slightest bit captivating for you, Brenton?
Well, it sounds intriguing.
Yeah, you follow this boy as he goes on. I think he's a boy. I'm pretty sure a teenager, perhaps, a young man. He talks to prostitutes at one point, so probably a man.
I was gonna say, like, I was like, there's issues if this is like meant to be like a 12-year-old. Like, yeah. But I don't think so. I think he's a young adult.
He's a young adult. Yeah, we'll give him that. And and we follow him on his hero's journey as he tries to rid himself of this terrible disease that the magical animals have put onto him.
That's
Is
pretty
that
good.
a
That's
summation?
that's pretty good summation.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean that sums it up. Yeah.
So, Brenton, I'll let you take the lead on this one, actually.
Yeah, sure.
What'd you think of this movie?
I really like this movie.
I really did too, actually.
I really, really, really like this movie. Just in terms of my background with Studio Ghibli, I haven't seen
Ghibli. Yeah.
I did know that, but and I always
Are you a
correct.
GIF or a GIF person?
Oh, God, dude, like I always correct my sister. She says Ghibli, and I'm always like, it's Ghibli.
Oh, really?
And so, and I hear Ghibli so much in my family that like
Sounds like Ghibli Puff.
my dad
like.
says it as well, Ghibli, and so like I always correct it, and so of course I come on this podcast and say
This recorded medium.
and say Ghibli. Yeah, no,
So, how many Studio Ghibli films have you seen?
3 now.
Oh, this is your third.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I've seen Howl's Moving Castle,
Yeah.
Spirited Away,
Yeah.
and now Princess Mononoke. And
Excellent.
I've always wanted to watch this one. I want to watch this one, and My Name of Totoro is the other one.
Yeah.
that I haven't seen that I need to see. But and When Marnie Was There is another one. That's the most recent one that I want to see too.
Oh, okay, nice.
But and so
other work aside, how was this film?
it's great. It's
As a
really
standalone
it's really
Japanese
good. It's really, really, really good.
Isn't it though?
It's fantastic.
I think it's good. I don't know if it's excellent. In my opinion, I think it's pretty good.
I think it's really, really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm vibing that you love this film more than me.
Maybe a little, but
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think it's excellent.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
what was the big selling points for this film for you? Like, what? Because for me, like, as soon as I started watching it, it's kind of it's a very Studio Ghibli film in the sense, as soon as that piano music kicks in, you got the beautiful like painted Japanese vistas of the landscapes. It doesn't even matter what the story is. Like, you're just in this unique world, and you're just happy to be there for the ride.
It was interesting watching in terms of animation quality, I will say, because this is the oldest Studio Ghibli film I've seen.
Same.
As of yet, yeah. So there is, like, I did notice that they improved. Like, they have improved by... Howl's is the most recent that I've seen. So there is a notable improvement. But it doesn't matter, because I think, like, this kind of art style is just so unique. Like, this world is so unique. And to me, like, that's the biggest selling point of this film is, like, this fantasy world that it creates. Which is run by... actually, I won't say. I feel like that's a spoiler. So, yeah. So I feel like it's very unique in terms of its setting. I also think it's not I know you said hero's arc, and I guess there is definitely that kind of staple.
The journey.
In this film. But also I like that it's, again, like, I like that it's deeper than that and
Absolutely.
is darker than that.
This film's very dark.
Yeah.
Very, very dark film. In spoilers, there's some lines I want to talk about that are very dark.
What is this film rated, by the way?
I have no clue. And that's the thing. Because we're so used to Americans' children's film that we kind of define children's film based on the American interpretation. But the Japanese children's films have a way different set of criteria.
I don't know if this is children's though. Like, I really don't know if this is meant for kids. Like, in the sense that, like, I feel like I agree. I think there's certainly many differences between a Western approach to animation and the Eastern style, the way the Japanese do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think part of that is that the Western kind of view is that animation is for kids. And only for kids, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's only recently, really, that you get like The Simpsons and like Family Guy, and like and all these kind of adult, let's say, animations. But that I guess have taken off amongst the public. Whereas Japan, like I was reading, this film was the highest grossing film in Japan of 1997. Like overall, yeah. So it just shows you that there's like there's a gap in kind of cultural perspective there that like of the appreciation of that. But getting back to the film, obviously, it's really dark and adult, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and not
definitely
even
strength.
Yeah, in terms of its theming too, it's not good versus evil. It's
no, both sides are equally troubled.
Yeah,
and there's been mistakes made on both sides. You're actually very right. It's very morally complex.
Yeah,
which you wouldn't expect from a film like this. Like going in, especially at the start when you meet both sides, you're kind of like. You kind of think this is a story you've seen before.
Yeah.
But then I remember like near the end of the first act, it takes such a radical shift and you're just like, oh, no, this is saying something different.
Yeah.
Like, and also just like I guess it all falls into spoilers, so I can't talk about too much. But like the types of minorities you see represented in this film is very surprising. You know
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
those people. Yeah. That like those kind of. I just mouthed something, guys, in case you couldn't tell. Yeah, like that group that minority being included in this film, I was very surprised at. The metaphor of what each mythical animal represented, that was interesting. Like,
and getting to the actual people too, it's complex in the sense that like the human beings that exist in this world, let's say, in the communities that they form.
Yeah,
they're all it's very human in the sense that like they say one thing and do the other. They're not cookie cutter. They're not stereotypes.
Exactly. Yeah, and like it's and the film wins because of that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. And the characters win too. I think there's some fantastic characters.
It's amazing. Like the characters in this film are phenomenal. Like the classic Studio Ghibli. Like there's a lot of characters, and they're gonna do a thing with Marvel. Like when a character rocks up, they do their spiel, and you know exactly who they are. And then in the next spiel, they do something very different, and they become complex.
Yep.
And they do it for each of their characters, and they try and make as many advanced characters as they can. They're like there's a guard who guards the main civilization that the hero comes across, who is more complex than I thought. I thought he was just an idiot, but then he turns out to be more than that. The leader of that society, I loved her. She's
up there with my favorite character.
Same, I completely agree. And like I love just her whole attitude, and just like she just did not care. She was just so nonchalant about the whole thing. I loved the group of people that work for her. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was really excellent.
Yeah,
what a fascinating
but that's what I
element
mean.
to add to a film.
Like
you know?
But again, there's complexity in terms of how she treats that group as well.
Yeah. This is such a random film. It's like they got like a dartboard of just like random like topics, themes, and groups of people, and they just literally got drunk one night on like sake and just started throwing darts at like the themes and the people and just grouped it together in one film.
See, I completely disagree. I think this has been so meticulously well thought out. Like to the like. I don't know how long this took, because Miyazaki wrote this as well.
He did, yeah.
I don't know how long he was stewing on this kind of idea and this world, but I think this has had like a good few years put into creating this. That's my guess. Who knows?
No. I'm not saying that there wasn't long hard work and crafting. But if you were to pitch this film with giving away all the spoilers, it would sound quite almost incoherent, because like,
true.
And then this happens, and then this character rocks up, and then this theme is introduced. I guess it would sound quite ludicrous on paper.
But I'd say that's
when you watch it, it blends together all quite neatly.
I'd also say that's a staple of the genre, though. I mean, like
that's just Studio Ghibli.
No, but this is fantasy. I'd put this as a fantasy film.
Easily.
Yeah. So, and I'd say fantasy is like the most complex, like. Because like they just create the most, like, even more than science fiction, because science fiction doesn't really take the time to explain everything. Like fantasy has got all, like, it's just so complex in the way that, like, let's say
genre.
that as the way like Tolkien like creates his world, and like the complexities in that are just like you don't even see like how it really. It's just this like labyrinth, let's say, of like a world, and then you look at something that George R.R. Martin does, and it's the same thing but in a different way. And this, I think, has had the same has the same amount of detail in it, which is why, like, I agree that it's random at times, but I think that there's like a deeper link, let's say, between,
exactly. Yeah. But I don't know like how much of this is enshrined in or underpinned by like real Japanese culture.
Yeah,
because I know if they just made it up, or if this is really a thing in Japanese. Because obviously I don't know much about Japan, sadly.
Yeah.
I've been there once when I was like 14 or something like that for like a ski trip, and then that was it. So like, sadly, I don't know this much about their culture. I've seen 4 Studio Ghibli films. This is my 5th one now with Mononoke. I saw Howl's, Spirited, Totoro, and Kiki before this. And it's like all Studio Ghibli films. If you haven't seen one before, like you walk in expecting to be emotionally moved. You expect to have a feeling of awe because of the animation, and you walk away understanding a moral better. I think those are 3 criteria that a Ghibli film delivers.
Okay, yeah.
And I think Mononoke, like all others, does that. Yeah. By the way, how amazing is the soundtrack? Like just the music. Like,
beautiful.
I downloaded it the second I finished it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful and that kind of stuff. And the animation is wonderful, and it's just. Yeah, it's great.
It's gorgeous, yeah, and it's it is like gorgeous. It's a real kind of beautiful film. It just it doesn't it really, for a Ghibli film as well, I'll say it really moves well, like in terms of pacing. Like I think
it isn't long at all.
this pacing is so on point for
Yeah.
like, because I love Howl's is still my favorite Studio Ghibli film I've seen.
Same.
But I will admit that Howl's takes its time at certain points, and like, you know, for the betterment of that movie. Whereas this, like, the pacing is just like, there's never, let's say, a dull moment. Yeah,
It's got good pacing. There were dull moments in the film, but it didn't ruin the film for me by any stretch.
Okay.
There were scenes. There's a romance in the film I didn't buy. There's some scenes. I'll get more into spoilers that I just could not take seriously.
Look.
This is a very ludicrous film, and like there are some. I don't know, maybe because, but see, just like contradicting myself, this film is surprisingly adult. It is very adult in its subject matter and in the way its characters behave, and a child would not get a full experience from this. I would recommend this only for teenagers and above.
Yep.
But because of that, like there were moments that I just thought, this is ludicrous. It almost shocked me, like some of the things that are in this film. So like, I don't know. It felt, and like it almost verged into Pokemon territory, where you could see the merchandising behind this film, like where there are spirits in this film, and there are some things I'm like, you just put that in there to sell a toy. You know what I'm talking about?
Really? I don't know.
You don't sense that?
No, I disagree. Like,
okay.
I'd even said that I'd let kids watch this film. I mean, like, I know it's dark and I know it's...
Yeah.
But I still... I don't know. I think it's worth a watch.
It's like when Disney like shoehorn like side characters that are quirky in, because you know they just want to sell toys based on their character.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
It's like that.
We'll talk about it when we get to spoilers. But like, yes and no. Like, kind of, but then no. It's not the Ewoks from Return of the Jedi.
No, it's not that.
It's not Jar Jar Binks.
No.
It's
God no. It's not to that level, but it was still at a level where I noticed it. I know it might just be me. It might just be me, uniquely me. Most people might never notice it, but it was just.
By the way, when you say like moments that are random, are you saying specifically that they're kind of character moments that are thrown in that are a bit weird and zany?
Yeah.
So that it's like that kind of Japanese. I mean, again, like I agree with you in the sense that it's. But again, like it's the more Japanese films I watch, and the more
so many.
The more media I consume from that nation, it's it's part of the culture. It
really is.
It's, and like I agree, it's kind of immersion breaking. And then like I still can't work out if it's meant to be fun or if that's the point, that it kind of like takes you out for a moment, and or if it's there for a comedic reason. I don't know. It's there though, and it's zany, and I kind of love it.
I love it. I love this film. Like it's like as soon as like maybe I was 20 minutes, and I'm like, I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah.
Like every time I watch a new Ghibli film, I'm just like, it's like lying in a warm bath after a long day.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just like,
for sure.
It's so good, and it just ticks all the boxes. And this one, as opposed to I think like Kiki or Totoro, actually they're both quite complex as well. But like this one, I think thematically has quite a message that carries. I guess because of its environmentalist kind of message, it really strikes as relevant for today. But whereas like Kiki and Totoro and all those other guys are talking about other kind of things. So yeah, and all Ghibli films, there's deep nostalgia for old Japan in this film. Like the beautiful old before,
but not in the way that most spoilers, like, which I won't get into at the moment, but like not the nostalgia that like most Japanese films go into.
No,
like,
because you see an ugly side of old Japan.
Yes,
like a huge ugly side.
Yes,
because most film, because like you'll see like the samurai revered in Japanese culture, and in this film, oh my god, the samurai in this film, like watch the fuck out, like yeah.
Which I loved. I was like, it was such a great perspective.
It felt so fresh, didn't it?
So we watched the English version, and by that we mean with English dubbing and voice acting.
Mm-hmm. And the reason, like, I am so comfortable watching a foreign film with English subtitles in its native language.
Yep.
And I think that's an excellent experience. I chose to watch this with English spoken actors because of the cast that they rostered, the English cast for this film.
But not only that, I think Ghibli really takes care with
they do
its casting process and who they...
Pixar's John Lasseter supervised the English translation for this
film.
But
they really take care with it, and it's an experience, I think, that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I'll watch this film again, most likely with the Japanese voice acting and English
100%.
subtitles,
Yeah,
just to see
absolutely.
it, because like I do that. But again, like every Ghibli film I've seen, the English voice cast do the thing, because they're very good. And
They are very good.
the actors
Are we spoiling it if we say who voices what?
No,
Or-
I don't think so. It's giving credence to the actors that gave great performances.
Because I did not know the English voice cast, like a lot of them going in. I knew a couple of them, but I didn't know all of them, so I was still very surprised
I had
when
no
I heard
idea.
the voices.
Yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised. Some of my favorites are in this cast.
Oh yeah, when I heard Billy Bob Thornton, I'm like, oh,
Minnie
like,
Driver, like
Minnie Driver's in this, like.
Also, for fun fact, one of my notes is, holy shit, John DiMaggio, like rock
Oh
star.
my god.
Marcus, if you don't know, Marcus Phoenix, Bender from Futurama, the Joker, like he's
done everything. He's like royalty.
He's like a star.
And God, he
voice actor.
delivers this film.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
He's so good.
He does a lot of background stuff, but he does
yeah.
that character you were talking about, the guard that is also a bit
he
deeper
does
than
do the
than he
guard.
seems at first.
In this scene.
John DiMaggio, round of applause. You're great.
Yeah.
But Minnie Driver gives an excellent
So
performance,
good.
and Billy Bob Thornton too. Yeah. I knew it was him straight away too. I was like,
as soon
it's
as you hear that salesman, you're just like, wait a minute.
God,
You're
yeah.
like,
Billy
yeah.
Bob Thornton is a really
so good.
really underrated actor, I'd say.
100% agree.
I don't
with
know.
you.
Is he underrated? I feel he is.
He's definitely underrated.
Yeah.
Is he like Academy Award winning? Has he like made one of those big accolades?
I'd say he's been nominated for
Yeah.
sure.
He's got Emmys because you've seen Fargo, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
He's just genius in that first season. Like,
Yeah.
he's crazy good. Like, what a talent.
I'm sure
Yeah.
he's been nominated.
Yeah, and his filmography is amazing. Like, and this film, like, he's so good. It's just like it's like any like Pixar or Ghibli kind of thing when you hear an A-list actor just voice a minor character, they give it their all. If they got like 10 lines, each of those lines are just impeccably like delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that character, with all these characters, but like you can see why he'd take this project on to play that role, because like, again, like it's a deep, meaningful, I guess, character that like is 3-dimensional and and isn't kind of is in the story for more than like, say, like the one reason or like just to serve this one purpose. It's there to provide, you know, a unique voice that adds to the film.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'd say English voice cast was on point for the most part. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, if the cast is if you know, I don't know if I should do the Japanese or the English, like do either. Do what suits you.
Do
So,
both.
Like,
like you're gonna watch like we won't get to that obviously that section yet, but like in terms of recommending and whatnot. But yeah, watch like watch both.
We have one important section to do before we rate the movie, and it's one of my favorite sections. It's, hey, look at that film's poster.
Let's look at this film's poster.
Let's look
actually.
at this film's poster. I have it right here. I'll make it big so you can see it from your side of the room. Okay, can you see that? This is the Japanese poster, by the way, like the main. Can you see that, Brenton?
I can see that.
Okay, cool. So this is the main Japanese poster. I'm gonna angle this a little bit so I can see it. Okay, so now when I saw this poster before the film, so it's I don't think it's that appetizing.
It brings up another point that I kind of want to make.
Okay, we haven't even talked. Go.
Why the fuck is this film called Princess Mononoke?
Thank you. Oh my god, like so much, like because we didn't even talk about her,
like
the actual character, the titular character herself.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Who I have very mixed feelings on. Like,
really, no, I like
you.
the character. I just don't know why the fuck it's called Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, it should have been called. What should have been called? Wait, we'll talk about the titles in title talk.
I get why it's called. I get why it's called Princess Mononoke.
Yes.
I get it.
She's pivotal in her importance, but yeah.
But not really.
But for
not
the
as
poster,
pivotal.
also of all the art in this film, like this film has amazing art. You put in the poster. It's if you haven't seen this at home, it's like her with blood covered in blood on her mouth with a knife, like a dagger, and behind her is this gigantic like wolf that looks very sinister. It's a grumpy one,
and they're both staring directly into the lens, into the camera.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's very discomforting. Like, especially for a princess. Like, I guess because you connote like princesses being, kind and elegant and graceful and all that kind of stuff. She looks like she just like murdered like a small child or something like that.
To me, like this poster, like it should have been like I get why it's this because this is a pivotal scene in the film when this.
Yeah, we don't know that looking at the poster.
And it's referenced. This moment's referenced a couple times in the film.
Yes.
So I get why it's this, why it's that, and it's in the film like that shot like sticks in my head.
Yes.
But not as much as like. If it was like a fucking landscape or something of like just the world, like that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even put what's his name, Prince.
Prince.
God, what's his name, Prince?
Mate, I don't know any of their names. Just to be clear with you, like I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. God, what's his name? The main character is called Prince.
Ashitara or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. Like I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get the.
I'm gonna
cast
call
list
him
up
Red
now.
Cloak because he's got a dope red cloak.
He has got it.
I like his red cloak. I love when he. Oh, that's a spoiler. Well, he not really.
Prince
he rocks up to.
Ashitaka. Prince Ashitaka. My apologies.
Prince Ashitaka.
Yeah.
I love when he rocks up to the town. Like he's got a cool coat. Like
Yeah, they're like referencing the great job done by like the animators. They're like, it was a good coat, man. Yeah. Let's put a line
Very
in.
meta. But yeah, I think this poster could have been a lot better. Like, it could have been not a spoiler, the final spirit, the major spirit. I reckon that would have been beautiful to have in the poster.
No.
Oh, really?
You got to save it. You got to save it.
Like, sure, because when that spirit rocks up, like that's
you got to
that's a
save it.
big moment.
Yeah. I can't wait to get into spoilers about that. By the way, but
should we rate the movie?
Yeah. But the last thing I wanted to say is just
yeah.
that because we watched the English dub, the animation isn't linked with the English dub. So, like, you're watching them speak Japanese.
Oh, yeah. That didn't bother me,
And it didn't bother me.
No.
It did in the first scene. There's the scene with the three sisters.
Oh, yeah.
At the very start, and when the first human characters, and I just noticed it, and I noticed
Oh, yeah,
it,
those idiots.
and then I completely forgot about it as it went on. So it
Yeah.
doesn't, but it just is there. Like, that's, in terms of the animation, that's the only thing, but it's not even a complaint, because originally, I'm sure that it would sync well with the Japanese voice acting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
let's rate this film.
So let's rate this movie. Do you want to lead?
Yeah.
So it's classic criteria that we always go off. It's a Thursday night. You've just finished work. You've had your dins.
Yep.
You're sitting next to your partner if you got one, or you're just home alone crying, and you flick on Netflix. You see Princess Mononoke rock up on your screen. Do you watch it, Bren?
2 thumbs up. Watch this fucking movie, rain, hail, or shine. Watch it 2 times. Watch it once with the English voice acting, then watch it with the Japanese voice acting, and then sit back and go, oh, I've watched this fantastic film, and then move on with your life. I will say, though, in terms of ranking, controversial because I know everyone loves Spirited Away, but this is better than Spirited Away. It's my number 2 out of the 3 I've seen.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm gonna say no.
You don't watch it?
I know you're gonna want to stab me.
I mean, like, I understand, like, not everyone's into anime, and
I'm into anime.
No,
mate.
but not
I've
everyone
watched
can-
like every season of Pokemon. You fight me on anime.
I'm not saying that against you. I'm saying on a Thursday night, like, not everyone goes, oh, what's this? But I'd say, man, you can get past this. This film's deeper than that, and it sucks you right in.
This is an excellent. Oh, this is not an excellent film. It's a good film. I'll talk more about why I didn't in the spoilers, but honestly, if you're home and you're going to watch a Ghibli film, out of the 5 I've seen, this is number 4. This is above Spirited Away. You're still at number 5 for me. I rank them as Howl's is the best, followed by Totoro, followed by Kiki, followed by this, then followed by Spirited. That's like my ranking in my head so far.
Fair
I'll
enough.
justify that further in spoilers.
I haven't seen those two, so I can't. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm also going to spoil some of those movies, so I'll give you fair warning in the spoiler section.
Fuck.
But I won't spoil it for you, Brent. I'll talk about the ones that you've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to all those films, like watch Howl's over this, watch Kiki over this, watch Totoro over this. Watch this. This film also kind of feels a bit derivative in the sense that its plot is very similar to Avatar. It's very similar to Dances with Wolves, almost.
Oh, really?
If you think of the mythical creatures as a metaphor for Native Americans or something like that, or Native culture, absolutely being driven from their homes.
No, yeah, I disagree. Like with Dances with the Wolves and Avatar, No.
I'm not saying watch Avatar over this, but I'm saying
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't think there's similar plot points in those. I get there's similar themes in the sense of like the environment and like the natural world versus like industrialism.
Yeah, but
and whatnot.
guy travels to the girl's culture, falls in love with the girl and the spoiler alert, girls in the culture and that stuff.
But I disagree because he doesn't get assimilated into the culture. He's like that's not the point.
Sure, he rocked up to destroy that culture.
So he's
So
like,
we're probably getting to spoilers right now. So
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no.
Yep, fair enough.
And Brendan's gonna say yes. We still haven't had an episode where we both agree. Oh
shit.
no, we're so antagonistic.
That's crazy.
Then we do this podcast.
I was sure that this was going to be the first one that we both loved. Yeah.
No, sorry.
Damn. All right. Yeah. It'll be interesting to get into.
Because we're bursting. Wait to spoil this movie.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Nothing but spoilers.
Because it's a spoiler section.
It's classic movie banter.
Just dropping the title again. Why not? Just in case people go to sleep. Like, what podcast am I listening to?
Spoiler alert, people.
All right. So the reason I'll continue the thread that I just started then. So like with this, I don't know, because like I didn't find it. I'm trying to articulate this correctly so I don't contradict myself because there's so much I love about this film that I'm very excited to celebrate. But like I don't know I love the story and how's better about a man facing his age and the old woman the young girl who's been transformed to the old woman and this exploration of age and what it means to be old and that kind of stuff. I think that's a way more important theme to explore. With Totoro, I absolutely adore what that character has done when it comes to the mythology behind the Japanese forests, and it's a gorgeous, richer tale that has more character depth than this. I think the message in this film is very blatant, and I don't think it's very subtle. And I think that's what takes it away for me. And I think if you want to see a film with strong messages about environmentalism and about moral decision making, there is better work. So that's why when I'm like, if it's a Thursday night, instead of Mononoke, I would give you like 10 other films to watch. That's my justification for it.
Okay, I'd agree with you that it's blatant, and that's probably my only thing.
Oh,
but
that's good. Fight, fight.
That's my only thing that I don't like. I really agree with you on that it is blatant.
Yeah.
However, I would say that the blatancy is is something that hits you at first, and then thank God, because I'd be on your train, but. Thank God that the film kind of subverts expectation and actually goes deeper into that and makes it. Let's say something that's really blatant was like Avatar or something like that.
Avatar's more blatant.
No, of course, but so this explores like the kind of the moral conundrums that come with like anything to do with the environment versus human life or human progression, or it's asking deeper questions, and the characters are forthright in like kind of like their goals throughout this film, but like they still like question themselves, I guess, at points. And
they do, and you know what? Like the moral decision making in this film absolutely makes it genius. We'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But what I also loved, for me, the big turning point for me going, oh, this is a fun film, to this is a very interesting film, was when the lepers rocked up. And I'm like, I did not expect to see this group represented in this film. When the prostitutes rocked up and they were treated as independent, intelligent women.
Yeah.
And also just the overall treatment of women in this film. Like the vast majority of characters were women, and they were complex, and they had full agency. And when all three of these things happened together, that's when I'm like, no, this film has something to say.
Yeah. I'm going to take us back to the beginning.
Okay, go.
Take us back to the start. Because like literally I want to spoil this whole fucking movie.
Go.
And go through like from the start to the end.
Run through it. I'm here with you. We'll hold hands and we'll do this marathon together.
Keith David. We didn't talk about Keith David, by the way. Before we get into the film, but Keith David opens the film with his narration, but then comes back as
because his voice goes away for a while.
Oh my God, yes! Like Keith David's voice is just incredible,
just heaven,
and he's such a great actor too. Like, yes, like everything that he's in, I'm always just like Keith David for the win. Yeah, that guy's
what an
awesome.
icon. What a man.
So yeah, from the start of this film, like, it wasn't what I was expecting. It was like,
Yeah, what a harsh opening. Like,
it's fucking dark.
It's so cool because they're all playing in the grass, and then that like demon comes out, and like the animation of like the spirit on it.
And I mean, like, that's dark, but then what happens from there? Like the moment that like we have that scene with the village elder with a bunch of like the and it's basically like, so this is going to be for you, Prince Ashitaka. This is going to be a suicide run for you. You are going to die.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. You must leave this place. We are banishing you.
She literally says the words.
Even if you are cured, you are never to come back here again in your life. Goodbye. And then that's the...
She says to him, "You are dead to us." Like, those exact words.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's like the opening scene. I'm like, holy shit. And then she's like, she cuts his hair, and they're all shaking their heads, and I'm like, oh, like, whoa, like...
Yeah, the first moment, actually, the point that I wrote down that holy shit, that's dark, was the pig, was the boar. When the elder said, "Be gone, like foul spirit, out of this creature, and like leave it alone."
Yeah.
And then this demon, this demonic voice says, "You pitiful, disgusting little creatures," and I was like, "Holy fuck!"
You don't see that in Disney, do you?
Like, holy shit! It was just like such malice and oh. Buddy, but then like I think Prince Ashitaka is probably the most boring character in the film.
He really is, isn't he?
But
he's like Batman. Batman's always the most boring character in this stuff.
What? Batman?
Oh, sorry. Oh, I triggered you, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. But that's okay. We won't discuss that now. But
I meant by that, like, whenever you see Batman in a scene, he's always like the least interesting person in that scene,
as opposed to say
because he's surrounded by Gordon or the Joker or like literally anyone, and because they bounce off him, and he's kind of the straight man in that scenario. So like, same thing with Ashitaka, I think.
I disagree, but we won't get into it.
We won't get into that. Fine.
But yeah, but I like Prince Ashitaka because similarly, let's say to he's not really similar to Batman, but like that scene set the precedent for him for the whole film, so that like
he accepts death so quickly. Like, he goes from like riding on his little deer friend to like,
which makes me love that character even more, because like in those moments that you're like, oh, this guy's a bit cookie cutter, and you're like, but he's not, like, because
that's when every woman in this film hits on him except for like the main except for Minnie Driver. Like, he just like turns him down because he's like, I'm gonna die. Like, there's no point. He's like, all these like prostitutes are like, oh yeah, come with us, we'll show you how to have a good time. And like all the men are like, oh, you're gonna go have chats, and he's like, nah. And he's just like, I'm gonna die. And we're like, oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I wrote down, it's a suicide run, and then we go from that, and we see this beautiful Japanese landscape of medieval Japan. You're like, oh, it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, I know the scene you're about to talk about.
And then we get to this battle scene.
Oh my god,
it's
like Game of Thrones.
And then it's like, oh, like this village is being slaughtered. It's not a battle. These villages are being slaughtered, and you're like, holy shit. All right, well, and then he's like, I'm gonna go, help them, I guess. And you're like, all right, yeah, you do you, Prince Ashitaka. The violence in this film.
Like, there are little heads flying everywhere.
Holy fuck. There's limbs everywhere.
Like, just blood splurting. It's like actual Game of Thrones.
I was not expecting. And then they're shoving their spears into these, like, these innocent people who are also, like, elderly.
Yeah.
Like, it's
so dark.
It's dark, man.
I'm just sitting there like, what is this film? Like,
I mean, like, and it's kind of like, it's not grotesque. It's still kind of fun because like
why isn't it so much fun seeing all these elder people get viscerally murdered?
I mean, like, that's not fun, but I mean, like, the violence against the samurai, and like when it's like a fight scene,
aren't they?
It's kind of
that Shogun just violence.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Tarantino-esque kind of like.
It is. It's very Kill Bill, isn't it?
Yeah, like, for sure. So it's kind of enjoyable at the same time, which is why I go, I'd still let my kid watch this. I don't know. Like, I'm a bad parent, but like,
no, you'd probably let your kid watch the Terminator and all that kind of stuff. Like, I wouldn't put my child anywhere near this.
No, I don't know. I'd let my kid watch this over like Chamber of Secrets. Chamber of Secrets is a fucking scary movie.
How is Chamber of Secrets a scary movie?
I remember watching Chamber of Secrets when I came out as a kid and being fucking terrified.
What scarred you from Chamber of Secrets?
Well, violence is a thing. Violence is a true thing that happens in the world. Like, like people get their arms chopped off all the time.
And kids should learn that from a young age.
And no, but kids also understand that from a young age.
They do.
Like, when I saw the fucking, like, in Philosopher's Stone, let's say even, them open that book and the face comes out of the book and starts screaming. Like that's taking something that's true in the world and distorting it to make it even into something worse. So like fantasy and like these type of things, like sometimes like I find let's say as a kid I found werewolves really scary.
Yeah.
Because like it's something that doesn't exist, but it's still based off something that's kind of true. Whereas violence is just like a true thing that happens. People lose limbs. A sword will cut your arm off.
Oh yeah,
like you know,
and
what
it
I mean?
does in this
Like,
film.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's just like chopping left, right, center. Like.
So like Harry Potter, like in the Chamber of Secrets, is a scary movie because like there's no such thing as a giant spider, but what if there was? Like, you know what I mean? Like as a child, you go like, yeah,
that's so true.
Yeah.
Fuck John Spice,
like,
man.
but at the same time, some violence in films as a kid, like I couldn't watch. Like let's say I could watch Kill Bill as a kid, maybe, but like I couldn't watch something like Saw. Let's say that's really fucked up, and like you're seeing the real pain of what's happening.
There's a scale to it. I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Mononoke, like I think is, I wouldn't give this movie to below 12.
Oh no, yeah.
No,
When I say
I'd probably 14 or higher, maybe 15 or higher, something like that. Like
12's fine.
we can see what kind of dads we're both going to become, aren't we? Like,
yeah,
you're not going to Uncle Brenton's house. So. But no, and like. And it just keeps escalating. Like the scene where they're the villagers are walking their bulls or their cows along that cliff edge, and then you meet the wolves for the first time. And Mononoke is riding, the Princess Mononoke is actually riding them, and you also meet Minnie Driver's character, whose name I'm forgetting, the main lead chick, and like she is so stone cold, and she has these amazing like bazookas.
Lady Eboshi.
That's right, Lady Eboshi.
Yeah.
And like she's like giant bazookas and they're just going off and they're like striking these wolves and then like they're not working and then this wolf just jumps out of nowhere and literally just kills like half the villagers and the cows like in one sweep and they just all tumble down the cliff and she just stands there looking at them going like, oh, well, we'll have to keep moving. Yeah. And then the guy's like, Lady Eboshi, what are we gonna do? And she's like, they're dead. Like nothing we can do now. She just walks away, and you're like, "Jeez, like there's just no levity in this film."
I mean, like this film was very existential as well,
wasn't it? Though?
Yeah,
they're all just like it is very Game of Thrones in the sense they're all just like, "Fuck this world." Like they all understand that their world is shit. And in a sense, like in the opening scene where at the original tribe, they're just like, "Don't go to the outside world. They're all fucked." And like, and then you go out, and they are.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, I love like things when like because Princess Shiitake like that kind of sets the precedent of like you're going to die and like he kind of comes to terms with that, but he kind of doesn't at the same time.
Yeah,
so, like
exactly.
he's still trying to like find a cure. He's still trying to live.
Yeah, he still has purpose.
He's got things to live for. One of my favorite quotes in the film came from Billy Bob Thornton's character when he says, "You say you're under a curse. So's the whole damn world."
Oh, yeah. I have that line. The world is cursed, yet you still find reasons to keep living.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, it's so existential.
Isn't it?
And then mixed with that, I
was moved by that.
Oh, I love worlds, too, that they're all like, this is so fucked. Because they know the gods.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, these large sentient animals
are gods.
Are the gods.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it when media and like stories like represent gods like this, that they're not the kind of all-seeing, all-powerful,
benevolent,
very polite. These gods are assholes.
Like the Greek gods.
Yeah.
They're just selfish. They don't give a shit about humanity.
And they live in the same world as like the humans and they exist together and have to live together. I just love that as like a concept, and like it's been done before. I'm not being like, oh, this is like the most amazing thing ever.
Concept?
But I love that. Like I just love it so much, and it adds a whole another layer to this film because like there's that moment where like she literally like should have killed that wolf in that scene you're talking about, and then she goes, oh, yeah, it takes more than that to kill a god. And it's just so nonchalant, and that's when I was like, "Oh shit, this chick means business." Yeah, like she's willing to just nonchalantly like murder like a god, and like not even worried about any ramifications or assume that there are ramifications to doing that. Like
exactly. Oh, and because because the whole film's about her trying to kill like the main tree god, or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
and
not for her sake.
No,
but just to please
the emperor. Just so he can like just stop giving her shit.
Yeah,
and like protect her from like the evil samurai and that kind of stuff, and they're all just trying to please this emperor who you never meet, you never even see. Just this,
I'd say I was trying to figure out who the antagonist of this film was.
Is it the emperor?
I think it's the emperor.
Probably is the emperor, to be honest.
It is the emperor, like because I was
you
like,
understand every character's reason for doing what they do.
I was thinking, oh, it could be Billy Bob Thornton's character, and then I was like, but it's not. He's a man
No.
doing his job,
Yeah.
and he is willing to give in at the end to save, let's say, civilization at that point. The emperor is willing to risk the world
Yeah.
so he can live forever as a god. Like,
yeah. I love that scene where Billy Bob Thornton finally gets the head, and like the world's getting fucked. Like the shroud of like the god is like destroying the world. He's just like running with his little box, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm still gonna get it to the emperor." And he's just gleefully running, and every other major character's chasing after him, like, "Get us the fucking head back!" And he's just like, like I love him. He's just great in this film.
I loved all the god characters. I love them all.
Yeah.
Like I think they're not as deep, let's say, as the human characters. But they don't need to be because they're gods.
Did you think
they're so finite with their choices and what they decided on humanity and
yeah.
Oh, so good.
Did did the stag remind you of James Potter's Patronus?
The Elky, you're cool. That's his name. You're cool. Come here. Yeah, no, I loved you're cool.
He was great. The way he walked on water, like the Jesus figure, like that kind of thing.
I kind of want to add another segment. Like, I think we're gonna make you cool. Like, when there's like, I don't know how to name this, but it's got to be like a segment when we talk about like, or add someone into the Hall of Fame of just boss animal characters, like boss animal sidekicks.
That's true. We can't. Yeah.
So you're cool. What are we going to call it?
Well, are they your cool?
I mean, I like it, but I don't want to just like your cool's not like the top.
No,
one.
he's
like,
not.
Yeah. So
let's call it animals. Let's call it top 10 animals.
Awesome animals. Amazing.
And we love animals.
Yeah. We love animals.
We love animals.
That's good. That works. That's fine.
They'll do the job.
So, you're cool. You are now inducted into the We Love Animals Hall of Fame.
You're on there. You got a little face. We'll frame it. We'll hang it in someone's room. And
tell who's not on there.
Who's not on there?
That fucking tree spirit. What?
Oh my god.
The design of that creature.
It looks like a Pokemon. It looks like one like the cosmic Pokemon. Like,
but with a human fucking face.
Yeah, that looks so weird.
Yeah,
and it's like 20 antlers as well. Like
when he looked up and like looked directly into the camera, I said, "Holy shit!" Like,
because it's a very like a kind of moment. Like,
and then you kind of like learn to love it. It's I don't know.
Yeah. Love is a strong word. I'd say I tolerated it. The length of the film.
I liked him. He was cool.
Yeah, he was fun.
I feel we need to get into now. We've discussed up to the point of the film where like the wolves have taken out that convoy, and then Princess Shitaka comes across those two kind of men that are like basically going to drown. And he saves them, and then he comes across Sun. I think her name is also known as Princess Mononoke. They never call her Princess Mononoke in the film.
No,
but I looked it up. Mononoke, I think in Japan means like. I think it means like spirit or like otherworldly. So it's like it's meant to be. I think the name is in reference to the fact that she is one who has been raised by the gods. Let's say, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, let's talk about her because you've got things to say.
She's a mixed bag in my mind because you meet her right, and she's on the top. Oh, by the way, I cannot.
What a way to meet that character, by the way.
Like, holy shit.
She is hardcore.
She's a hardcore motherfucker.
When she's like, when she's sucking the blood out of the wound and then spitting it, and then she spots him and then proceeds to spit the blood out, it was just hardcore. That was full on.
Like, that's interesting. Like, yeah, like, side note, I could not take those wolves fucking seriously at all. Like just like their voices, like the wolves' voices. I like the soft motherly voice and that kind of stuff. Like the grr. I feel like I'm watching Twilight. I feel like I'm watching New Moon. Like where the wolves just talk, like because their mouths don't move the same. It could be a Japanese thing, but like their mouths are so out of sync with their English words, and because they're wolves, I was laughing so much every time a wolf had dialogue. Like I genuinely could not take it seriously.
I never thought that they were speaking. I thought like the voice just kind of came out.
No.
Yeah.
Like their mouths aren't supposed to project like the voice. It's like telepathic almost. But like, but I still could not take it seriously.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah.
But yeah, but with her specifically, like her motivations aren't revealed till much later on in the film, and I'm like, what's the point? Like, why you like? Because she's like the adopted daughter, and you kind of learn that over the film. But like, even towards the end, like I just wasn't invested in her. I just didn't like find her that interesting. Like, because besides from like the the human raised in the native metaphor that she was, like I didn't see anything new with her, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's not my favorite character in the film.
No, she doesn't do much as well. Like, she's just kind of like there, like to be like, oh, bloody creatures,
Yeah, but it's also like, I don't know, it's an interesting perspective because I guess it shows that like what happens when someone that a human that, let's say, isn't raised with like humankind, kind of like thinks of, just the kind of thing, it thinks of themselves as like part of this community, and like that's kind of all she has. And
how does she speak English?
She's willing to like just decimate humankind and kill it, like all the people. She'll happily. She's just like I mean, like, and
because her main thing is to kill Minnie Driver in this film.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite scenes where she breaks into the village. I love that scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's so well coordinated because you like 20 minutes into this film, like you go into the fortress and you see how well fortified it is. You like to meet the sex workers who are how amazing women running this factory, making all these weapons. You meet the lepers, like this is a well-oiled society, and it's surrounded by hundreds of log pillars just sharp, and you're just like this is a damn good fort.
Oh man, that reveal of Irontown was insane. There was the villager, and I can't remember his name because he's like a side character. He's a recurring
the injured one.
Guy. Yeah,
and I love him. He's great.
Oh, we're home. And
his wife.
It does that slow pan from the beautiful forest we've just come from to this industrialized fort.
It's like in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers when you go into Saruman's like his forge.
Yes.
And it's like this beautiful landscape, and then you just go down this hole, and it's just like iron and lava and just trolls, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with this.
And the Ents all like, these trees were my friends. And you're just like,
they're cutting down the trees. But that's what the bloody pigs are about. They're like, by the way, those pigs are idiots. Like, they're absolute. I know they're pigs, so they're supposed to be idiots, but like they are proper idiots. And that giant pig, you're just
I was thinking before we started this show, they get decimated. The boars are gone.
Oh yeah, because at the end of it is just the humans in the boars' skins. It's so messed up.
It's so messed up. Like they're just wiped out.
Yeah.
Like man.
No wonder the pig god loses his mind because like even if he wasn't possessed by the demon, like because it's all about like the film's like overall messages for like what's the main guy again called Prince
Ashitaka.
It's like the whole film's about Ashitaka holding back from his anger. Like, because this anger's gonna spread and kill him, and everyone's like saying this is gonna happen. So like, and it's about other characters holding back from anger. It's a huge like message. By the time you see this boar and his entire like civilization's like his entire people's wiped out, you're like, dude, lose your shit. Like vent. Like what a message. Like you're allowed to get angry. You're allowed to be upset.
Yeah, but it's kind of in Ashitaka is integral to the storyline in the sense that like. And Ashitaka knows that he's the only in-between in this situation. So if he loses his shit or loses his cool at any point in time, it's like negotiating. Like, or literally is negotiating in the sense that like if he gets angry or like picks a side or like or gives in to like those primal feelings, then both sides are going to lose. I think that's the metaphor, that like nothing can be achieved like in terms of like this environmental message or whatever. Like the discussion has to be had. Like we can't just be like, it can't just turn into a shouting match. It can't just turn into a war because things will get worse for everyone.
Exactly. I love how pacifist this film is.
Yeah.
Like it really like favors diplomacy over it. There's a great scene, like I think 2/3 of the film, where Billy Bob Thornton and his government army, he like they're about to ambush the
spies.
town. Yeah, the spies. They're about to ambush the town and like and they rock up to the front gate and the women who are behind the fort, they're like just like throwing banter. They're great. I love those women. They threw amazing chat the whole film. Anyway, so like there's this whole scene where like they're like, oh, we're gonna invade you, we're gonna fight all you guys, and they're like, no. And then like some scenes pass later, and then it ends with the spies all being invited into the fort, and they all just have like dinner together, and they're all just like eating and they're just munching and that kind of stuff. And the women and like Prince rocks up and he's just like, are you guys okay? And they're like, yeah, we're fine. like what have you been up to? He's like, I don't know. Like it's great.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Like their words are really strong, and it really favors like let's stop this violence. Let's actually try and talk about our differences.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And from what's in it? Lady Eboshi's perspective as well. It's kind of because I feel like the only real creatures that have just like a finite like perspective on things that are just like that their minds can't be changed are really the gods.
Yeah.
They're just like, this is our land. This is our world that like, you know, maybe we created, or like we are gods. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a different perspective. Whereas Lady Eboshi like is willing to have a discussion, but knows that the importance and the survival of her people is paramount to any scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always at the forefront.
Yeah, which is kind of like her greatest weakness as well, is that like she really is kind of like a moral, like she's got a good moral center, but her kind of undoing is the fact that like she won't, I guess she just won't. She doesn't really take the god threat seriously.
No, and that, going back to what I was talking about before, I never finished that. The actual scene where Princess Mononoke breaks into the fort, and she jumps around the rooftops and like and the lady who leads, she's just like doesn't care. She's just and everyone's like freaking out. She's like, no, it'll be all right. And then the princess eventually meets her, and then she just whips out this sword, and they just go at it, and it's an amazing coordinated fight. And she's just holding her ground.
Yeah.
And then like Mononoke gets beaten back like with this gigantic gun. And Princess Shitaka like intervenes, and like she just doesn't care.
Well, it's like Eboshi, I think, would have won the fight. Like,
Eboshi definitely would have won.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that like, you know, she's hanging like Mononoke's hanging with the gods. Like, yeah, of course she would win.
She's still human. Yeah.
That's the thing.
And it's interesting as well that the gods are willing to just sacrifice that like her kind of daughter. Like,
that's the thing. Yeah. And like, but yeah, when you come to talking about her Ashitaka's, that's her name, right?
Who?
The main leader chick?
Lady Eboshi.
Sorry, pardon me. Eboshi, yeah. I gotta remember that. When Eboshi, like, I think her moral center is really underpinned when you meet the lepers. And and because you wonder who's making all these weapons, and then she goes into a private garden, and she shows the prince, like, you know, these people wrapped in bandages, and you're like, oh, because they never say they're lepers until much later on, but you kind of know immediately that they are.
Yeah.
And what a nice change of pace.
Yep.
And you never see lepers in film. The last time I would have seen a leper in a film would have been
I know.
Yeah, you know, it's Monty Python, isn't it?
No. I was gonna say It. The most recent It.
Oh.
But it's like, oh, it's a leper. Oh no. And it's like the most horrible interpretation. Like, it's like, because it's Eddie, the kid that's the hypochondriac's like view of what a leper is. That's like this monstrous, like.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what they always have been, you know what I mean? Like.
So you're right. It's a really.
They're not treated like as, like there's a film I've seen where a leper, like a character's mother is a leper, and then she goes to join her in the society, and then she's saved by someone. I forget which movie this is, but like there are movies that treat them intelligently, and I'm glad this film is now one of them as well.
Yeah, and
just the agency they have, and just how they're still able to you know, to do good in society. Even though they're making weapons, but like yeah, I thought that really makes
well, it's interesting that they're the best craftsmen, let's say. In the
what irony
in the town.
You know what I mean? Like, despite the fact they're literally falling apart, they're still making the best weapons. Like. Yeah.
God, it's an interesting society, that one in Irontown. It's such an interesting, like,
that's what makes it feel like high fantasy almost. Because the world is so realized. Like, you could see a TV show set in this.
That's right,
like, easily.
I love this world, man. Like, I think it's fascinating. Like, I love the strange, like, kind of interactions between the men and the women of this town in the sense that like they're both so dependent on each other, but not in like a let's say a typical sense.
No, I love the banter between like the wife and the injured husband. Like, she's like, "Oh, mommy, I'll get a real man." It's like,
I don't even think there's any children in this town.
No, I couldn't see it. Yeah, I also love like when like the wives, because you remember that this Princess Mononoke has killed a lot of those wives' husbands, and when she rocks up, those like two wives like pull and like, "You killed our husbands," and they just start firing like all the guns at her, and you're like, "Oh yeah," because even though you start warming up to Mononoke, she killed a lot of those characters that we like. So like it's
Yeah.
so morally complex. It's so funny. The more we talk about this film, I'm like, why did I say no? But like,
I
I stand
thinking this
by
the
it.
whole time. Like, yeah, like
I stand by it. There's better, even though we're praising this film, and this film does so much right. I stand by. There's better Ghibli you can watch. There's better environmental films you can watch.
But if you put that aside,
Yeah.
and you just treat the film as a film,
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke, we've rocked up at this cabin on a Thursday night, and it's the only DVD there. Is it worth watching, or do we play Scrabble? Like, I don't know.
Mate, don't knock down Scrabble. I'd love a game of Scrabble. Like, no, I still wouldn't. Because I must sound crazy because this is a great film. It's just I'm trying to because I have it in my head. I'm just trying to say it in the right words. It's just I don't think I'm trying to think of like all movie watchers and that kind of stuff, and all people watching that kind of thing. Like, especially people who aren't familiar with Ghibli films. This is not the first Ghibli film I'd recommend. If people be like, "Oh, I've never seen a Ghibli film. What should I watch?" I wouldn't put this as your first viewing.
Would you say Howl's is a good first viewing?
It's the best, and I wouldn't start with the best because it's like when
I
people
agree,
say it's like when people say, "Oh, I want to get into Black Mirror. What should I watch?" And if people say San Junipero, they're like, "No, that's the best. You can't give them the best to start off with because then the rest just disappointing."
Yeah,
and you think that all the episodes will be that caliber. Same thing with Ghibli. Like, you never recommend the best to start off with.
I think this is the perfect place to start.
Really?
Yeah, I really do, in the sense that, like, I agree that Howl's is a bit much to start first.
Same with Spirited as well.
Yeah, so I think this is like probably the most kind of...
I've seen Kiki and I've seen Totoro, which you haven't.
Yeah.
And because I've seen those two, I would say Kiki's a good starting point. Because Kiki's delivery service, for those who don't know, is basically Japanese Harry Potter. So this young girl discovers she's a witch, goes to witch school, and she ends up delivering parcels around this small Japanese town. And it's great. And it's a really good entry point, and 100% would recommend it.
I don't know.
You don't know. You haven't seen the film,
yeah,
so you can't guess. But I tell you what, if I had just, you know what, you are right. If I'd only just seen Mononoke, Spirited, and Howl's, I would definitely say start here. I wouldn't say start with Spirited. I'd probably say do Spirited then Howl's, and then I'd do Mononoke then Howl's and Spirited. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like this world, I guess.
Brenton, I want to spring a new segment onto you.
Oh, spring it onto me, Nathan. Spring away.
I call this next segment, which two characters should have kissed? Where in a movie, I like sexual tension, Brenton.
Yep.
Obviously, we have a lot of it between us, unspoken, of course, until this very second, where I've now made it spoken.
What?
But but in my movies, Brenton, I like a bit of a smooch. I like it when cats, how do you know characters have a relationship if they don't have a smooch? You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I think every movie, regardless of genre, tone, needs a smooch at some point.
Okay.
That's just my 2 cents. And which two characters, Brenton, should have kissed in this movie?
I've got a pretty good idea.
Okay, you go.
Yeah. There was a point in this film that I could feel the tension rising. The two characters I think should have a nice smooch are Prince Ashitaka, and also the elk. You're cool.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like,
and you know what? That fan art absolutely exists somewhere.
Oh, like it would.
Oh,
yeah,
you know it.
But like, come on, but you're cooler than most people in this film. I feel like you're cool. Like, I feel.
I wanted Billy Bob Thornton to kiss the main chick, the leader chick.
Oh right, yeah, Lady Oboshi.
I was waiting for them to kiss. I'm like, even though they have no sexual tension, I wanted them to kiss. Just because he's by your side the whole time. Like, you know what you two need? You just need a smooch right now.
Yeah, I'd say you're cool in Prince Ashitaka, or you're cool in Sun, you know,
yes.
Or you're cool in one of the wolves, like, or you're cool in the forest spirit. Like, I mean, like, you're cool, like, is pretty easygoing.
He's a kissing bloke,
but he like has great interactions with all these characters, so I feel like you're cool.
100%.
Like, and everyone loves you cool too.
Oh, who doesn't? Who doesn't, mate? Like, I'll tell you what, if I was in that world, I know who I'd be smooching first. So.
But there was that point. I think it was Sun that was like touching your cool's face, and I was like, oh, if she just lent in, like, they'd be making out right now. Yeah,
I want this to be a regular segment now for all of our future episodes.
Sounds good. But Lady Oboshi and Billy Bob Thornton, yeah,
100%.
I see that. Yeah, for sure. Or even like, it'd be nice to have seen the the guy that was injured and his wife finally share an intimate moment.
Yeah, because they never do. they're just giving each other shit all the time, and that's how you know they're a good married couple. Because they just give each other shit the whole film. But
when the world's ending, like in that moment when the world is literally ending, like I don't know.
It would have been nice to see just like them go at it, you know, like like they're all chasing after the head, and then it just hard cuts to them in the village, and they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, fine. They just start making out. You're just like, you just go for it. I've got another new segment I'd love to spring on to you.
Spring it on
I'm
me.
just on a roll, mate.
Go.
I call this segment, what was the most Japanese thing in this movie? Where when we watch a Japanese film, I would like to ask, what was the most Japanese thing in this movie?
Oh, okay. It's either that side character, that guy that's the injured guy that's always just like, what a guy, like he's always
We'll
like...
try and we'll try and be as appropriate as we can to the Japanese in this segment.
Oh, no, but like, I mean, like he's kind of like that annoying, like annoyingly optimistic, kind of like, for no reason.
Yeah.
In the scene, other than to be like that kind of outspoken
overly
idiot.
cheerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I'd say the marveling, let's say, of Prince Ashitaka by the females in the town. That's so Japanese.
I know. You're waiting for the anime eyes to kick in, but they didn't.
Yeah. And it's kind of just like, okay, because they're just marveling over this young man's body, like, and it's just
gosh,
it's just like, okay, guys, come on, like, let's move on. But what else?
I reckon, for me, the most Japanese thing in this movie was those like weird, the
forest spirit?
The white with the. What's that sound that make? It's like a grinding clock. Yeah. With their heads rotate. I'm like, that's very Japanese. Like,
yeah.
That was the merchandise moment.
Yeah, I know. You were saying the merchandise moment.
That was, and like, they have no purpose. I love it when,
when they were introduced, I'd agree. But
I love it when the spirit creature rocked up at the big one, and like they're all riding the trees like a wave. Like, it just comes out. You just see hundreds of them just like putting their hands up in the air.
And
they're just like, woo!
It's such a quick shot, but it's so funny.
It's so good.
Yeah, like I kind of agreed that they were like merchandise when they first popped up. I was like, oh, of course, like the But there was that really creepy shot of them all like shaking their heads at once, and it was the slow pan, and it was like the screen was like having having a stroke. It was like that. Do you remember the shot? It was like a pan shot, and there was like millions of them, and they were all going.
They were like,
and,
going berserk.
You couldn't watch it. It was like nuts to watch, and I was like,
it's like they're all tripping. Like,
yeah. And that's when I was like, I don't know, like these guys are a bit dark as well. They're not Pikachu. Let's just say that. Yeah.
No. They're Pikachu that's seen shit. There's a great Funny or Die video, I think they're the ones who make it, of like what happens inside the Pokeball when Pikachu goes in. And it's like this, like, have you seen this YouTube video?
No, I think I've heard of it.
It's like this like full-on like nightclub, and like Pikachu's just like this gangster, and there's like all these women and drugs and cocaine, and he comes, and every time he gets defeated in battle, he has to go back inside the Pokeball to heal. So he like rocks up to this like this club like beaten up and like defeated.
And like has a bender.
Exactly. That's what I think of when I think of these creatures in Princess Mononoke.
I've always thought with Pokeballs, like, how depressing it must be to like go back inside that ball.
Yeah, because they're just light as well. Like they're not even living in the ball. They're just in suspended animation.
Well, especially because Ash is trying to catch them all. There's a lot of fucking Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so, like, you wouldn't see all that much action, so to speak.
What kind of message does that encourage as well? Like, capturing every animal on, like, in his natural habitat. Like, what are we promoting
and
to
storing
children?
it in a tiny ball and then leaving it until the situation arises.
Yeah. Using it to fight, like, to dog fight, like, other animals that have been captured illegally. Like... Pokemon's messed up, man. I think that's with most cartoons. When you really think about it, they can be quite messed up. But Pokemon especially, like,
yeah. It's kind of and or even like there's like the most messed up, the most Japanese thing in Pokemon is for sure every time they rock up to the poker centers or like the health centers or whatever they are, and there's always the nurse, and like it's Brock, I think, that comes in and has the fascination with like Nurse Joy or Jenny or whatever,
right.
whoever it is
Officer
in the
Jenny.
town. Yeah. And and it's whoever it is, and the nurse is always on the desk or on something, and she's like, I'll hear your Pokeballs or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh boy.
Ooh.
I don't know, like 6-year-old Brenton really didn't take much note of that, but like looking back, you just go, oh man, like why is that in this show? You know what I mean?
I know.
So Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah. Brenton, I would like to have some title talk.
Yeah.
Title talk. So, Princess Mononoke as a title.
Mm.
Going back to kind of what we started before.
Yeah.
Was this the best title? Like, was there some Princess Mononoke in
I'd
Princess
say
Mononoke?
My instant reaction, like I said, is like, why the fuck is it called Princess Mononoke? But then
Yeah.
I think, what would be a better title?
It's not. You can't call it Prince Ashitaka. Or maybe.
But it doesn't. Mononoke is just. It's a good title. Like, sound wise,
Yeah.
it sounds good.
It does
but,
sound
like,
lovely, yeah.
Maybe
Maybe, I don't know, like Violent Japan the movie?
the tale of Irontown versus wolves and boars.
It's like a Godzilla movie, like Irontown versus Wolves. Like, in cinemas, 1997. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a solution to that name is.
Nah. But tell you what, there was some Princess Mononoke in Princess Mononoke, although
There
not
was.
as much as I would have liked.
Admittedly, there was. Yes.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was in it, so I guess
She
the
didn't.
title.
She didn't earn like the titular role. Let's say.
No,
Yeah.
she wasn't. She wasn't
Yeah.
the protagonist, which was a nice twist actually, because you
Yeah.
walk in, because it's like whenever you hear a title within a film, you're wondering when it's going to drop.
Yeah.
It was nice that they withheld that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's never. I don't think there's a point in the film where anyone says Princess Mononoke.
No, it's like the Dark Knight, whereas could you imagine if they have like the final scene like the Dark Knight, like she's just riding the wolf, she's like, the forest needs a silent protector, Princess Mononoke, and she just like rides off into the distance.
By the way, speaking
Done. The credits roll.
of cut to credits,
Yeah.
Speaking of like the climax of this film, though, and we're saying the score, the last song
Oh my
is
god.
just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like intense, like, and because the film just kind of ends.
It does, yeah, like really like abruptly.
Like so it kind of like Ashitaka and Mononoke say their farewells until, and I really like the end of this film actually. I like that Ashitaka's still optimistic in the sense that he believes he can help the future Irontown, live in harmony.
Also, he doesn't die.
Yeah,
you think he does? You think he's going to? The
no
whole
one
film?
dies.
No,
Apart from the gods.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Message? Question mark.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
leave kind of the land to the humans, but
Very
it's,
Greek.
It's fascinating that Ashitaka thinks that he can convince the humans for some reason. He thinks he can convince them to live in harmony with the wolves and the environment when they have proven themselves incapable. Like the whole time, he cannot convince anyone, let alone their leader, that like his way is right. So to me, like, I don't know where this world's headed, and I don't know if it's going to be a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll never know.
And we'll never know. But it's
We'll
weird.
Never know.
Speaking of that song, it's weird that they wrap up Mononoke and Ashitaka, and then it cuts to Lady Eboshi, and then
Yeah.
it cuts to Billy Bob Thornton's character and wraps those two up, and then it just ends.
Yeah, like literally that's it.
Yeah. Which is good. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
No, it doesn't. And that's good. Yeah. It's got a good lane.
Yeah. Shall we get into some...
Critics?
Yes, please.
Critics, what are they saying?
What are they saying?
What are they saying?
Or singing
The critics will sing.
in classic movie banter.
I would love that. I would love it if like you just like put on like at the movies and it's Dave and Margaret and they just burst into song.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Oh, I wish they should have done a musical episode. Okay, so Princess, so going to Rotten Tomato, the be all end all when it comes to people guessing if a movie's good based on a single number. Princess Mononoke, the tomato meter sits at 9 at this point in time, the 92%. It's pretty high up.
Excellent.
First three movies we've done, they're all being pretty highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Even Rocky, and the audience score is at 94%.
I think it earns both those scores. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
Yep.
I look like an idiot now saying don't watch this film, but oh well. I'm standing by it.
No, you have your point, and that's that there's better films in this category, and that's fine.
Yeah. With all the critics that I sample for this show, I like to make it pretty balanced. I get like to look at the critics and the audience.
Yep.
I get 3 nice reviews, 3 bad reviews from both the critics and the audience members. So let's look at what the critics are saying, Brenton. So Michael Booth from the Denver Post It's just right for the 9-year-old looking to while away a long afternoon in escapist storytelling.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty good. Yep. He said 9-year-old. This guy's saying 9 years old would watch this film.
Like I said, dude.
This is bad parenting Renton coming out to play.
It's not bad parenting. I think it's a great movie.
You would
for
not
kids
give this to a
watch.
9-year-old. I'm just imagining the head flying a little 9-year-old. Then again, you got drunk at 6, so maybe like maybe this is just your background coming out here.
Yeah, this is the brain cells that I lost.
Yeah,
during that time. Yeah.
what's all this? Like, yeah. David Sterrett from the Christian Science Monitor, he wrote a good review saying it's more thoughtful and varied than the average Hollywood cartoon, and its environmental message is appealing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got a good message,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. Last of the positive ones, Jeff Weiss from the Deseret News in Salt Lake City gave it a raving review. He said, obviously the real star here is the artwork, which is spearheaded by director/lead animator Hayao Miyazaki.
Yep.
100% agree.
Yep.
Like, yeah. See, we like this one, so we can't really do anything with the positive reviews and that kind of stuff. However, the negative reviews. So, Jay Boyar from the Orlando Sentinel. It's a great magazine. He didn't like this film, Brenton.
Oh.
He gave it a rotten, and he said, watching this film is often like observing a group of people playing an elaborate game for which you don't know the rules. What they're doing obviously has enormous meaning for them, but that meaning is mostly lost on outsiders.
I don't agree.
I disagree too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the you don't understand the rules of what they're doing. I think the world isn't impenetrable. Like,
No.
Like, Lord of the Rings has got more insane background stuff going on than this. Like,
I totally agree. Yeah.
Jay Boyar, if that's even your real name.
Yeah, no, I don't agree at all with that. Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious, like, you know, what these guys are doing and, you know, what they're trying to communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, maybe too obvious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The critics, I tell you, what are they on
Yeah.
about? Paul Tatterer from CNN. He wrote rotten. And he said, the entire undertaking is presented as if we're being taught a very complex lesson in enchantment and earthly conservation. And people who lean towards Japanimation will convince themselves that they're watching something visionary. But it's just a cartoon.
Ouch.
Yeah. I agree with him in the sense that, like, the film presents itself as a complex lesson on you know, enchantment, that kind of stuff. And you're right. Like, I don't think, like, thematically, like, the environmental message is that nouveau or anything like that. So I do agree with him on that. But, like, it's just a cartoon. Cartoons can be deep.
Yeah.
Cartoons can have, like, as thick a meaning as you know, a Citizen Kane.
Yeah, for sure.
So don't slag off that, Paul. Come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Bud? And last one for the critics, Peter Hen from the Film Journal International gave it a rotten, and he said there isn't one conservationist idea in the tamely correct Mononoke that the adult audience don't know already. I think he's got a point.
Perhaps, but
Yeah, this guy's on it.
perhaps, but it's still worth. I know it's still worth it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks, Peter. And then for the audience members, Karina W., she gave it 5 stars. She said, my other Ghibli favorite, had I seen this as a child, I would have run away with the wolves.
Oh,
I think she's...
Don't do that.
Really don't do that. If I was a child, I would not run away with these wolves. Like, I would be murdered immediately.
These wolves are like, they threaten to murder Ashitaka
like, immediately.
many times.
Like,
Like,
so
yeah,
many
yeah,
times.
yeah.
You're an idiot. You don't want to be with the wolves.
You don't want to be with the wolves. Not with these wolves, yeah.
No, God, no. Amone G gave it 5 stars. She wrote, my favorite Ghibli movie. This is not my favorite Ghibli movie.
No, mine either, but
no.
I can
you
see
know,
why. I
you
can
do
see
you.
why. Yep.
Daniel C gave it 4 stars.
Oof.
He said, really good, but heavy-handed with this message.
Perhaps.
Yeah, like I said, it was quite
Perhaps,
bland.
yeah.
I'm glad someone agrees with us. Ben L. 1.5 stars, Ben.
What's going on, Ben?
He said, this is a little bit of a long one, so bear with me. He said, I keep trying to connect with Miyazaki films and I keep failing. My latest attempt was with a movie that I found more dark and violent in its presentation, Princess Mononoke. The entire time I watched this film, I kept thinking, it's just another Fern Gully, Dances with Wolves, or Pocahontas remake. I don't need to see that story again. It bugged me enough when I rewatched it in Avatar. However, part of me almost wishes it would have stuck with the simplicity of mimicking those familiar story beats instead of adding all the odd complexity with spirits, demons, and godlike animals. That's a long one, Ben.
I mean, he's got like you were saying, like
you can understand him.
He's got a point. But again, like I don't know. I don't liken it to Pocahontas. I really don't liken it to Dances with Wolves. I mean, I think it's its own thing, and it's worth a watch. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And 2 more. Michael C. gave it 1.5 stars. He said, the battle sequences are a little too violent and bloody for my tastes. The characters are not at all interesting to me, and the story as a whole seemed way too cliche and formulaic. I mean, too violent and bloody. There's been more violent and bloody stuff in this.
And also, I think the characters are good, so I disagree with that.
Also, like, the violence adds to this film. Like, it makes it unique. Like, I wouldn't say don't watch it because of the violence, if anything. Like, probably for a child, but like not for real life.
I think the characters are great. What's his third point again? Sorry.
His third point was that the story was too cliched and formulaic. I'll give a little bit on that. I did feel derivative, but also like it came out before a lot of these films that we now think of it as derivative.
And also like for me, like I couldn't guess the ending. It got to a point where I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't. I mean, there's elements to it that are formulaic, let's say, but not all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think it had its own message and its own kind of structure. Yeah.
And the last one from Sean E. Gave it 2.5 stars. He just wrote one simple sentence. He said, I liked it up until Princess Mononoke showed up.
He's kind of on your page.
He is, like, actually. Yeah. I like this Shawnee because, you know, I still enjoyed the film long after she rocked up, but like and also the film was called Princess Mononoke, so you kind of need some Princess Mononoke in there. But like but she shows up early on, mate. I think you got to delve in deeper than that.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what the critics were saying.
Oh, it's good to know.
Good to hear from them. Yeah. So, Princess Mononoke, what a film.
What a good time.
What a good time. Yeah, I'm glad we watched this.
I am too. I think it was a good choice for a third episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us talk about it. Yeah.
Thanks again. If you've listened to all 3 episodes so far, I don't know what's wrong with you, but thank you for sticking around. Yeah. You know,
where can people find us, Nathan?
They can find this podcast. I don't know how you found this podcast if you didn't know, but you can find us on iTunes and you can find us on SoundCloud. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Twitter. Just type in Classic Movie Banter. You'll see our handle. Give us a tweet. Let us know what you like, what you dislike, what you want us to watch next. And I think that's everything. I'll get better at this, I think, as time goes on.
Yeah.
We both will.
For sure.
We shall improve as the hand of time passes.
Exactly. Yeah. We will learn and
we will
continue
grow
to grow
with the forest and the animals